I'm a parent of a couple of students from Fox Chapel, and the other parents here from Fox.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So
right, take it
I'm
easy.
here more so with questions than for a speech. Of course, we all saw the article, heard the allegations. I myself have called the school to speak with the principal directly, and I'm told that certain things were said, but it was said between colleagues. I was also informed that not only that, I needed to speak to the director of accountability in the district, which was Matt, and I was hung up on when I started asking him questions today as well. Matt also confirmed that things were said from this teacher that were not said on school campus. So at the end of the day, we don't care who they are, what they identify as, where they're from. Something was said and we were kept in the dark for weeks, and we had to find out via social media. So I just want my questions answered. What exactly was said? How is this person investigated and cleared to come back into the schools? And how is this gonna be addressed in the future as zero tolerance, just like violence and anything else is in this school?
So I'm just basically here trying to gather facts so I can decide whether or not to pull my son out of Fox Chapel. And my personal opinion, what I see at that school, it's a hot mess.
Easy.
As far as Mr. Lemon's comments about, if anything he said about, and I know this may be getting off subject, about the Hernando County Sheriff's Office, I think that's disgraceful if that's true. There was some sort of a cover-up about what I heard. I'm sure everybody here has heard about all the school shootings that have happened recently. And that's not gonna happen in this county, I'm telling you right now. And this is a dad talking to you. You guys better pay attention to what's going on in the school.
Face it.
I'm sorry. If there was a teacher at that school that made threats, and if a gun was taken, and that teacher is coming back to school tomorrow, then I wanna know about it, and you guys are gonna be held responsible, and I'm sure Governor DeSantis will be investigating every single little piece from the handling of the Hernando County Sheriff's Office with internal investigation to your actions, and everything will be investigated, the truth will be coming out. So you better stop telling the lies, because the truth will come out. And that's what I tell my kids every single time I find out something is not right. And something is not right now, and you guys better start telling the truth.
Why we have to go out of our way to contact the school for something of this magnitude when we do know and are aware of all of these mass school shootings that are occurring throughout the country. A lot of this is based off of mental health. I do not care, or I am not concerned in reference to who, what, when, where, or whatever you may be. I'm more concerned about the safety of my child. I have no reason to feel safe if I don't know anything that's going on. So I think that as a school district, we should take this more seriously, because this is not a game. We've seen too many children die at the hands of someone who is upset and frustrated, and the fact that if we all received the phone calls, have been told it wasn't considered an imminent danger or an imminent threat, but it was an act of frustration. You're gonna tell me that if I yell at my kid in public, that's a problem. But as a teacher, who I leave my children in their hands all day, they can make this statement, whether they're in school or out of school. That's not an issue. So I just wanna know why we're not taking this more seriously, instead of just letting somebody come back into the school that we really don't know if they're ready to do so.
And then not once have I heard from you guys to even say anything regarding this threat. This is ridiculous. If every one of us take our kid out of this school, what is the school gonna do? Close down? Because that's still where it's supposed to be right now. You guys wanna be held responsible for a student being shot? Because that's what it's gonna come down to if you guys don't man up and actually take responsibility of the same teacher. I'm not gonna sit back and watch you guys let these kids be treated like complete dog crap and unheard of because of this stupid stuff that is going on. This is ridiculous. My kid has been pushed aside, and she's a straight A principal's list student, and now this is going on. Something needs to be said and heard for freaking once, because this is ridiculous that you guys sit back and you're worried about burn fires, brush fires, pornography. Well, here's a news flash. Pornography is everywhere. Whether you have it in school or not, they're gonna turn around and get on their cell phones and find it somewhere else. Why don't you worry about the bigger picture, like teachers threatening our kids? I'm done. If I have to take my kid out of this school because of this teacher, I have hundreds of friends that will take their kids out of the school as well.
It's taking way too long for you guys. And we're sitting here, this is almost an hour out there, been here just to address this. This should have been a separate meeting. It's almost like you guys don't really care. So I guess we'll see how you guys answer these questions and then we can make moves from there.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. My name is Charles DePrisco. I'm from Spring Hill, Florida. I'm here on behalf of my son who attends Fox Hall Middle School, or Fox Chapel Middle School. Everybody here is aware of what has happened with this incident with the teacher. Doesn't matter whether they're white, black, purple, green, or a rhinoceros. I'm glad she's a great teacher. She made a threat. It was a viable threat. It needs to be taken care of. I was a fire medic for 13 years. I was also a captain. If somebody in my fire station made that same announcement, they're out. 30 days with a rep, you're getting bigger acted, and you're getting counseling, whatever else. Even worse, may lose your job because of the threat that you made. She should be held to that same standard. She's with our children. I plan on pulling my son out of this school because it's complete ridiculousness over there. The fact that it took 2 weeks for us as parents to find out anything happened, it is mind-boggling. I called DeSantis today. They're putting in an investigation to the Board of Education.
So I just want to take a moment and say I certainly understand in today's world why you are here asking about Fox Chapel. I honestly do. And I also want to assure you that we take security of our students and our staff very, very, very seriously. And I watch the staff on a regular basis work hard to make sure that's the case. Whether it's hardening their campus, or just listening to a student for any signs of anything. I also watch the sheriff's department, who works hand in hand with us, do the same thing. I know they do it in the community, but they do it wholeheartedly within our schools, around our schools. They are always there at the drop of a hat, always there, thinking of safety, working with us. So I don't want anybody to think that we don't think that way. Ms. Rodriguez referred to the amount of information that comes in. We're inundated all the time because we want to be informed, and the board to be informed in real time what's going on out there. And it's not always accurate. It always will say alleged this, that, because it hasn't been investigated or hasn't finished. It's just real-time information for them, so they know. And I use that as an example to say, we are always watching for safety and communicating outwardly when we need to, and internally when we need to. So with all that said, I also want to address a few other things. There were some comments about a bloody nose, some comments about other behaviors that I've never heard of, nor it's never, it's never come up to this level, and it's not involved with this incident that I know of, nor a lockdown that day. There may have been one, but there was nothing associated with this, and we wouldn't lock down one classroom. It doesn't work that way. All of our classrooms are locked. So, with all that said, yes, there was some comments made, and it was investigated by our staff, and it was investigated by the sheriff's department staff, and it went late into the evening, and both of those agencies, who do this all the time, felt that there was not an imminent threat. And when there is an imminent threat, we notify any of the parents or schools that may be involved at that time. We don't put out a global or anything like that. We go directly to that school. So both of those agencies made that determination. And I know there's many stories out there about this happened, that happened. I can't share all the facts with you. But I can tell you, I respect the sheriff's department and his team, and I respect my team. And both of those groups who do this all the time, I'll remind you, determined there was not an imminent threat. Additionally, so that teacher was cleared that evening, was not on the campus for a few days, it was cleared to return again. And has been there, and she's not returning tomorrow, she's been there. So.
That's why.
If you were to
Unless
say
I-
that, we would be
Excuse
arrested right now.
excuse me,
You and I both.
please.
And the sheriff's office
So-
told me they had no involvement.
This
or
is not a back and
investigation.
forth, I'm giving you an explanation.
I have a question.
So-
What was
You're
With that
losing.
said,
I have a question, sir.
with that said, I need you to trust me.
Sorry.
You may not.
That's a strong
I
word.
trust my staff, I trust the sheriff's department,
They
and I
said
trust
there's
their
no
collective
investigation or
decision.
involvement. I have that.
Ma'am,
To make sure
Left
we
it under the
have
rug.
imminent threat.
Covered it up.
So,
What was the
if
comment?
you
This is
have
my
any
daughter's
further,
mindset.
if you have any further questions, I'll be able to stick
The
around.
comments
There
were
are
concerned.
What was said?
small
What was the
details I
comment
cannot
said?
talk about.
You're-
And really,
she shouldn't
Up the colleague
so-
was concerned,
my
the
daughter
parent should be
anymore.
concerned.
Thank you.
Mr. Superintendent. Mr. Stratton.
Okay.
Covered it up in the rug. You're ignoring us.
What was the officer's name that investigated?